There once was a bittersweet man, and they called him Lemon.
Welcome to Interviews from My Hometown. My name is Seth, and today we have Nathan Holterhoff, one of my greatest friends currently. And Nathan, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so Nate, how long have you lived in Wenatchee?
No, judging my birthday was on Monday, 19 years now.
Okay, so you're homegrown, just like me.
Oh, geez, born and raised.
All right, perfect. So I want to know, you're still in high school currently.
Oh, yeah. Gotta graduate.
What, you go to the River Academy, which is, one of the, a private school here in Wenatchee.
Private, classical
you're-
Christian.
Yeah. You're under, the same sort of schedule as Wenatchee High School, correct?
No, we're not block schedule. We are single classes.
Okay. What has your time been like at the River Academy?
Well, I came there back in third grade. I had almost failed out of English in public school. I went to a bilingual school. And
Okay.
so they taught us Spanish and English alongside of each other, which heavily confused me. And then just in the mass of students, let's see, in second grade, I had a total of 150 other students in my class, which is very high for the Wenatchee School District.
Yeah.
And I just kind of got caught up. So they switched me end of second grade into an English only course. And I continued that through third grade, but it just wasn't connecting with me or working out. So my parents with me, like, I don't know if like you consider me asking about it switching, but they transferred me to the River Academy. And this is where it gets interesting. I originally failed getting in. I did not pass the writing exam. I could barely read. I can barely write. It wasn't until I got a tutor that they got in. Well, actually, I got in because the teacher reevaluated me, and because my math was outstanding and my English was lacking in an English focused school. That's very hard. We're liberal arts, and so our math is like, yes, I'm taking calculus right now, but the majority of our education is focused on public speaking, proper argumentation, and just general liberal arts. So like art, just general focuses like that. So I got retested, I got in, and man, did I struggle that first year. It just was transition, different environment. I went from having 180 other classmates to having, I think, 12 at the time. There's 13 of us total. And that environment was there. I got to school promptly at 7:55 and left at 2:35 when school was out. Didn't have any connection, didn't have any time with my class. And so that kind of was a hallmarker of my early education. I was pretty antisocial towards it, and I just did not feel connected, and I had a wild time just staying well in school.
All right. So you're a senior right now,
Yes.
just about to graduate.
Hopefully.
What does your upcoming time as a student look like?
So since I transferred, I've had a continual growth in my grades. I've now been on top of my class, all A honor roll, which doesn't mean anything since sixth grade, one of the two.
Okay.
And on track to become valedictorian at our school. I believe so. It's one of those things where there's this two-way competition between me and another classmate. So we're not quite sure if we're sharing or if we're getting it because we're kind of even. So that's where I'm coming from. I excel in math. I still don't enjoy writing, but I can definitely do it better.
Leaving the River Academy, where are you going to be heading to for college if you are going to college?
So I'm going to the University of Washington in the College of Engineering. I got a direct admission, so that was kind of my goal. It's been my favorite college ever since I've been young. So go Huskies.
Yep.
And now I'm in the middle of the phase of waiting for the housing applications. I got a month until that's due, and scheduling all my advisor meetings so that I do it all right and do it all proper.
Awesome. So outside of school, what do you do? Do you like any sports?
So I did sports up until the beginning of my junior year. I tore my ACL back in the sophomore spring. So I was playing rugby. I was running down the sideline with the ball, and a guy came up, grabbed me, tried to tackle me, slid down my legs and twisted and sent my knee out. Well, I played through that. I sat the rest of the game, but then we went on to get second place in state. I sat out 3 weeks because they just thought it was a torn meniscus. It had just been, a light injury, like, oh, sit out, you're fine. Well, I survived. I sent it out one time at the end during the middle of the rugby season, so I sat for 2 more weeks there just to make sure it was okay. And then I played in our playoffs, so I missed a lot of the regular season, but still got to play in playoffs. That's where it was kind of like, okay, I think my knee's okay. And finally, it got to football season. It was summer practices, so we had just started in May. So this was like May 24th. We had 2 weeks. So about a week and a half in the football practices, I sent my knee out. Again, same story. Got denied an MRI and all that. So it's like, oh, it's meniscus. You'll be fine. And so I went through that, did PT during the summer to take care of that, strengthen my knee, and just did general workout. And just did my general workout through the high school. Well, anyways, it wasn't until the last day before our first game that I sent my knee out for the last time. I had a full knee brace on. I had all of that. I planted, tried to lock a guy out, and just went down, screaming. It was finally like, okay, we have the school on our side. They've written me finally something that would like force the insurance company to say, hey, get on this. And so that's officially how I did. After 5 weeks of waiting, I finally got an MRI after that first day. Found out my knee was pretty bad. Torn meniscus, so 3 tears in my meniscus, a torn ACL, partially torn MCL, and a partially torn patellar tendon with a cartilage graft needed. I had bone-on-bone contact in my knee, which was fun. So that ended my high school career of football. I'm still recovering. Well, I can do most sports. They just don't recommend contact or like skiing right now. But as I'm getting into that, by next winter, they said, "Oh, you're fine. Just make sure you're working hard at it." And I just can't be slacking, which I have been. So that's been fun.
All right.
My other free time I spend a lot of time. Ever since that, I spent a lot of time at my church. I'm part of the tech team there, and I mostly do sound engineering and mixing. So on Sundays, you'll typically see me behind the soundboard mixing our live services. And so I set that up. I get the instruments set out. I get the keyboard. I get the mics. I route everything, and then I play with the effects on them. So everything you kind of hear when it comes to live production is not very live. We do a lot of processing, especially as it goes out, so that our speakers sound as close to what the people actually sound like, because audio just has this way of distorting it. And so I do that on Sundays. I help at youth group on Wednesdays with all that. And then I come throughout the week to organize, to clean, to just make sure everything's going in a steady flow, or to help with the video if they need audio for that. I don't really know video production.
In case you all are wondering, Connor Metcalf, our first episode that we have, belongs to the same church as Nathan and I do, Sage Hills Church in Wenatchee, Washington, where Dayton and I are both from, where my whole podcast comes around. Besides, outside of the church and outside of school, do you work or?
Yep, you'll find me. This is the biggest joke I've had in a while. So I'm a fairly cheesy person. I just started to make your night cheddar. Okay, I'll stop. I work at the cheesemonger shop in Leavenworth and in Pybus. So I'm currently there. You'll find me just selling you cheese. If you want to come say hi. We're currently closed thanks to a whole bunch of situations going on, but it's just I just there selling cheese on the weekends to different tourists and making bank at it. Well, actually, currently, my boss is. I walked into the shop one time with my camera. My boss was like, "Oh, you're a photo guy." It's like, "Yes, I can take photos. You want to take photos for the website?" I hesitantly said yes. I am now updating the website. So I'm learning web design in a casual way right now, but it's just he needs somebody to do it, and I got extra role and a little bit extra for bringing my own equipment.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
when you're not working or at school or at the church, what are some of your favorite spots around Wenatchee that you like to be in,
I
or be at?
I personally love Mela. If I need a place to go schedule a meeting or just to just chill out or just do schoolwork or work in general, I barely ever home, so I'm either doing like schoolwork or volunteering is the majority of my lifetime. But I'll go to Mela. I love the backside of Saddle Rock, not the main trail where it's just super crowded, but there's gardens, there's a reservoir up there. And just last week, we were at the very top, nearly the same altitude as Saddle Rock, but there was nobody around us. It was just us, nature. It was beautiful up there, and that's why I really enjoy. Um, Definitely near the Icicle. The Icicle is a really cool river up there, up in Leavenworth, and it's only 25 minutes from where I live. And so I get to go up there all the time. I'm up there for work. So after work or even before work, I'll go up there, explore the riverside, and just kind of mellow out. It's my place to just unwind. Nobody's around me, and I enjoy it immensely. And then the state park at Cheland, you can go rent kayaks there.
Yeah.
We've had some epic kayak wars.
So you're only child, from what I
Yes.
remember. I'm an only child as well, so I know your pain.
Our pain, dude, it's celebration at points. Everybody's complaining about siblings
oh,
at
yeah.
points.
So I know the deal behind wanting to be kind of isolated with the spots you go around. I love to go hiking alone, but my mom constantly tells me to go hiking with people to make sure I don't die.
Oh, the story's same true. It's always true too. We're an only child. We're us. Well, I don't want to generalize right here, but we love we're independent almost to a bad amount.
Oh yeah, I completely agree. So something that I feel like you can tell a lot about a person through is their music taste. So I wanted to ask about your music taste and like what you feel that you kind of gear yourself towards.
So I really like R&B, and I'm gonna pull up my Spotify playlist right now because that will really tell you. So one of my favorite artists of all time right now, I went to go see him live in concert back in October, is Noah Kahan, and
Okay.
he's very mellow, and I'm a high stress person at points. So when I don't need fast paced music, like I do listen to like Panic at the Disco, but they have such variety and pacing that I can find stuff that really kind of calms me down. Those are my big choices. Borns, I love all of their style music. It just this kind of slow rhythmic pacing is was my big delight. I'm not a pop. I can listen to hip hop sometimes, but that I listen to a little bit of Christian music at points just when I'm kind of hit the mopes. It's just I listen to it. I listen to it so readily at church that I disconnect from it when I listen to it personally because I'm
Yeah.
listening to it to learn how they mixed it so I can mix it to what people are expecting with the song. So like there's a lot of freedom I have when I'm mixing songs about like ooh, what sounds tasteful to me right now. But there's types like people are so used to what they hear on the radio, what they hear on Spotify, what they hear whenever they see a live concert. And if you're doing the same music, you kind of have to mix to that style. And granted, the
Yeah.
music's written to that style, so it's sometimes easy, but sometimes really hard to not want to change something up or try something new in mixing.
I I completely understand that. As you know, and some other people don't know, I do the same stuff that you do at the church. I do a lot of sound mixing. Nathan and I are both interns at Sage Hills Church, and along with one of our other friends, but he'll be
Aaron.
he'll be a different episode.
His name's Aaron. Say hi to Aaron later.
Yep, we will say hi to Aaron later. But I completely understand the whole kind of distancing yourself from Christian music. That's why I've definitely tried to find my own kind of songs that we don't play at church. Like one song that I have on repeat, especially recently, was a song that we did a very long time ago called "Beautiful Things" by
Dude, you're
Gunner,
bringing
I
back
think.
freshman memories right now.
Oh yeah, that I love that song. I still do.
Beautiful things. Yes.
But yeah, so thank you for answering that and being so upfront about it. Do you see yourself doing any more things with music later in life?
Well, right now, definitely I want it. I want to continue with it. That's my biggest. That's like it's my biggest pastime passion. And if I could turn it into a full-time career, I definitely would. But I currently going into engineering, in which I'm really excited to look into what that opportunity that opens up, especially if I could go into the acoustic side, designing rooms, spaces, and just processing on how it sounds differently, and just understanding the real technical outside. But I don't want to forget my roots, and so I'm still learning. I was actually taking classes right now, but those got canceled due to all this about acoustic because I want to understand music theory more. I want to understand just concepts of music that I don't see when I'm mixing. I you really play it by ear. Like yeah, you know keys, you know how when something sounds off, but it's your job to also make stuff even when they're all playing in the same key to make it sound good.
Yeah.
And that's the real big thing is like, oh, if a vocalist is singing like off key slightly or it's just not harmonizing well, you turn them down and they get drowned out in the mix. So, but I want to learn, just better concepts of that as I go on. Also want to learn how that processes.
Okay.
Mhm.
So something I wanted to ask was, what is something that most people underestimate about you?
Oh, geez. How fast I drive, maybe? No, no, that I could actually be socially, I can be social when selling. A lot of people, especially when I first got my job, are like, "You're gonna go be a salesman?" They didn't expect it of me, and I was like, "Yeah, I am. Let's see how it goes." And turns out I absolutely love it. It's been one of the greatest moments. I've had some really fun times. I used to talk with people every day, just from all over the country, all over the world. I talked to a man from India one day, and I also talked from a guy from British Columbia, all in the same day. They're all chilling out in Leavenworth, just partying. And
Yeah.
so I get to see 100 people, and it's so weird because I'll walk out during Christmas lighting. Christmas lighting doesn't end until 9:30 or so, so there's still people out on the streets all the way through December, just late. And I get off work. If I'm closing on like a Friday or Saturday at 8:30, or if I'll get out at 6:30, and people recognize me. I've had conversations on the side of the streets with random people, and that's actually shocked myself because if I didn't have a purpose with the conversation, or like I need to talk to people, I would avoid it at all cost. I just didn't wasn't social. I didn't make small talk because I was so scared of talking to other people. But now that's really taught me that, like, hey, I can. It's fun to talk to other people. It's fun to be social and just experience other people, like see what's going on in other people's lives, and have a joyful conversation with it.
Okay. Um, what in your mind, what has been the best compliment that someone has given to you?
Oh, geez.
And you don't have to say who it was, because I know that can be stressful.
No, but I don't like getting complimented at points because when I feel like it's my duty or my job, I don't. It could have been it's when my boss gave me my first raise. I had been working there 30 days, a month maybe, or was it my boss? Anyways, it was just like you're doing really well at this, and it was like something I thought I was gonna suck at, or when I'm doing sound and it's just like a really good mix coming from the person I'm mixing. Like a lot of times when you hear yourself through speakers and all that, like even when I hear myself through things, like I don't like how it sounds because your voice in your head is different than the voice other people hear. So my biggest compliment is when I get something like I've been so used to doing for so long, it comes root, and then like somebody legitimately comes up and is like, "You did really well with that." I was like, "Oh wow." Or this one, I was doing a memorial service for a family, and if you don't know that these are very difficult to do, not in tech aspects wise, but you have to be kind of the rock a lot of people come to when you're getting like a funeral service going, because people don't continue going, and it's not their fault. They're mourning the loss of a loved one. It's completely understandable why it's not the first part in their mind. But when somebody came up, it's like, thank you so much for pushing this along to get this going. because the whole point of memorial service is actually a joyful ending. You're celebrating that person's life in memoriam. Well, at least I always try to make memorial services. I always put on a happier face, not a joyful, but like I want to be happy in all my tone to the people I talk to, because it really can help their mood, especially in a time of just great time of like loss. That especially even just stress with getting everything to look perfect. My biggest thing is I want to make everything look as how they want it, but also want to remind them in just my way that the biggest priority is that you're finding comfort in your loss. You're remembering them well, which and changes the big way. Weddings are easy. Weddings, most people are joyful less if they're stressed.
Yeah. I definitely get the memorial thing. Something that I want to quickly touch on is that talking to my dad about that, memorials have changed so much from what they used to be. I think a lot of people that are in your and I's generation or a few years above us have really looked at funerals and kind of gone, why is it this way? Why are we almost mourning someone's death? Why aren't we celebrating what their life was? And why do we have to be so dressed up for it? I think that's something that's becoming more and more common, is to see more celebrations of life, and it's a lot more casual almost. I don't know if you feel that same way, but
that keyword change right there from memorial to celebration of life is entirely what is. They're not different. They're the exact same thing, and they're supposed to be. In memoriam, granted, it will be a sad occasion. Even celebrations of life are sad. Because you're talking about a person you will not see for a long time, or you might never see. And that's the big thing, is celebrating that and allowing you to reach out. So it's really cool. It's really cool to see that kind of change in our lives and how that's changed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What does being a Wenatcheeite mean to you? I don't think that's the actual term, but that's the term I'm keen.
Wenatchean? Wenatchee. I'm an East Wenatchean, so sorry.
Oh, okay.
I live across the river. I live in the town that should be the exact same town, but we're not.
Well, I count it the same town.
It is the same town.
For the sake of this podcast, it's the same town.
It is the same town. We're difference is we're in a different county technically.
There's a bridge. That's the
literally.
The
well, there's also you got the high school, man. Come on, high school.
Sorry. Ooh.
You got the Wildcats and you got the Panthers, which neither I'm part of, so works.
Yeah. I'm a Wildcat through and through, blue and red all the way.
Gold and
yeah,
blue,
but what
right?
does being a Wenatcheeite mean to you?
I really look at what we have that other communities don't have. I always hear the old message like, oh, I can't wait to get out of the valley. A lot of the people I know are like, don't want to get out of the valley. Like, granted, I'm getting out of the valley, like, but that's also like, I want to come back here. We have endless opportunities for personal entertainment, for what we can go out and do. There's 1,000 hiking trails within a few miles of me right now. I can be in mountains and snow in 40 minutes, or I could be in the middle of nowhere in a windy plain in another 40 minutes. I could be chilling on the river right now. I could be jumping in it. Well, it's a little cold for that. Don't get me wrong. It's still March.
That has not stopped us, Nathan.
Oh, yeah, I know. We did that last week, or 2 weeks ago now.
2 weeks ago now.
Oh, jeez, that was cold.
We don't need to talk about that.
Just so you know, we made a deal with some middle schoolers that if they did well in an activity, we jump in the river. Yeah, we jumped in the river up at Leavenworth.
Yeah, they did pretty dang well.
Dude, they sprinted harder than we did.
Oh yeah, one of my 6th grade boys, he ended up hurting his foot for the next week afterwards.
I don't worry, I had to get stitches.
Oh, are you kidding?
Yeah, not Jonathan. I forget his name right now, but yes.
Yeah,
it's one of the J's. There's Jonathan, Jacob, and Jordan.
One of them.
Yeah, one of them. So yeah.
Okay.
That's when it just I always look, and then I go over to Seattle and like I enjoy visiting Seattle. I enjoy visiting the coast in general as we go out. I think the coast would be a really cool place to live too because they have a lot of free recreation. But I see a lot of people leaving they're heading into downtown Seattle, Everett, Tacoma, not Redmond, but they're heading into those areas, and where a lot of recreation you have to pay for, and there's not abundance of it. Like, yeah, you can go down
Yeah.
Gasworks Park, which Gasworks Park's an amazingly cool park on Lake Washington. On Lake Washington. Yes, it's on Lake Washington. But it's not the end all, I would say. And I feel like we have it to where I could be on top of Saddle Rock one day. I can head to Birch or Badger. I can head up the Icicle River. I can head up the Iniat River. I have a cabin up the Iniat River that's only an hour and a half away. And that's been one of my favorite places. Snowmobiling up there, or even going to Mission Ridge skiing and snowboarding. It's just we have so much to do here, and that's why I feel like we're a very active community in a lot of ways, but we're also very inactive in how we use those.
Yeah, I totally understand that. I think one thing that we definitely have is community. That's a big one. Because I can name half the people that um I can name a lot of people from just my parents' friends that I've gotten to know that have put me through so much throughout the valley. There's so many jobs that I've had that have been solely sourced through community.
Well, that's the big thing is if a lot of people listening to this may know my mother. She works for Stemelt, and she was always the lady driving around the white pickup with the Stemelt sign in the blue rack. She got a new truck now, so many people don't recognize her. But she visited, so most days she visits is 25 to 30 different stores sometimes. Worked for Stemelt to get purchasing done, to talk in person about contracts, POs, purchase orders, or just getting specialty items that we need one-offs and we need that day of. So anywhere from like picking up donuts at Glaze on her way into work for the board meetings, or getting coffees, or getting the barbecue supplies for all the lines. She does it all. So she's all the little Hispanic markets, Latino markets in town, they know her by name, and she'll order 50 pounds of carne asada.
Yeah, I remember I knew your mom before I knew you even. So it was just because she used to come to a shop that I was always loitering at. But
Well, and my mom's loud. My mom will talk to you for hours.
oh, I know.
Yeah, and the thing is like it's bad. Like mom, she's so nice about it. It's so nice.
Your mom is one of the nicest people I know.
Yeah.
So something I like to do is I like to leave some time for guest questions. So do you have any questions for me that you would like to know, as since we both have lived in Wenatchee all our lives? What is something that you would like to know about my life or something?
So
I don't know.
when you're not waking up at 4:30 in the morning, what do you traditionally do in your mornings?
A lot of my mornings are spent. Well, I mean, I get up at 4:30 Monday through Friday to go to work. But if it's a Saturday through Sunday, I am usually getting up and figuring out what I'm gonna do today while looking at my phone, maybe playing video games.
Oh, that's a mood.
Actually, probably playing video games. Let's be honest here. But yeah, that's usually what I'm doing. I'll usually be trying to plan a mountain bike trip, or where I'm gonna go longboarding today, or if I'm gonna go hiking today.
Now,
Or if I'm gonna go film something.
nice. Now, are you a journaler? Are you? Because a lot of my friends and a lot of people I know, as they mention journaling time as a part of their daily routine. Now, I've never had that habit. I've never been a good writer down of. I've never been good about writing down what I traditionally want to do throughout the day, or what's on my thoughts. Like I have my commonplace, which is a book where I keep funny quotes or interesting quotes, and occasionally I'll write down profound wisdom spewed from my mouth, which is not very often. And I was like wondering, have you gotten on that trend where you incorporate that into your day?
No. Something that you and I have been going through is a thing called a rooted group, which is they give you a book and it has a bunch of Bible stuff in it, and you write down kind of like your thoughts and feelings throughout the week. And that has been something I've really tried to keep on to, but I have never been one to constantly be writing down my thoughts and feelings in a book. I've tried it for like weeks, and then I'd stop, and I'd try it again, and I'd stop, and I just couldn't get into it, so I stopped trying to do it. Rooted's been the only thing that's been stuck in my week, in my daily
My
every day.
I'm the same way. It's the only book I've been constantly reading and or I've been personally reflecting.
Yeah,
My hardest thing about it, especially when they're talking about what you think of other people or when you think of people, is how rude I realize my thoughts are at times about other people.
I've had that same feeling of like just well, you know this. I have been a pretty angry person in the past, and I still tend to be.
Oh, I
And
am too.
yeah, and it's kind of trying to learn that and how not to be that almost.
hmm
And yeah,
That's where a lot of self-correction. I've actually personally noticed a change over my last year about when I've really focused because I didn't focus on it for a long time. I got stuck in my own head about, oh, I need to be the very best at this and push down everybody that comes against me. Well, I've stopped caring about that in a lot of senses. Like, yes, I still care that I get good grades or I do well in school, but I've stopped wanting to. I've just made it a bunch of stop trying talking about it as an ego as like a way to push other people down and make myself feel great or make myself feel better.
yeah. I've definitely noticed a change as well. I started going to therapy middle of my senior year um, for anger management issues. So I've definitely noticed a change now that like you, started really focusing on it.
hmm
Do you have any more questions for me, Nate?
Oh,
Okay.
what's your plans coming up through this year
My plans coming up for this year.
other than we're locked
I
in?
other than us being locked in, um, I'm planning on doing a lot more. I run a production company called Toke Weekly Productions, and I plan to do a lot more productions. I've done dominantly car stuff, but I've recently been wanting to branch out into that, and I've gotten a lot of stuff for music related stuff recently. I've been I don't know if it's still going on. I was going to film a concert here April something or other.
I'm
Um
sorry, it's canceled.
yeah, I know. And that was going to be really cool. I've also gotten a few things for music videos, but they were still planning on what they were going to do there. I had to I had a bunch of prospector stuff in about July, August area, and I had done a music video for someone named he's a SoundCloud rapper here in Wenatchee, and his name starts with a D and ends in wavy.
D Flight
Um,
Wavy.
yeah, and let's just put it this way: some stuff came out about him, and it didn't go far for many people, but it went to me, and he did some stuff, and that's about as far as I'm gonna go for it because I had to delete the music video in fear of losing potential customers.
Makes sense. I get that.
Yeah.
Well,
So continuing with that, continuing with production, and I've been writing acoustic songs and hoping to release some of those soon.
nice.
Yeah. So Nate, I know you probably may have come with this or you may have not, and you could just go with our original Zoom call that we were having before this. What is a joke that you have?
Oh geez, I'm gonna use at an earlier meeting today. I'm using the list. Do you guys like dad jokes? I really hope you guys like dad jokes. Also, oh, where's the list? Well, anyways, my wife is really mad at the fact that I have no sense of direction, so I packed up my stuff and write.
Oh, you already told that one. It's still funny. Oh no.
How do you make holy water? You boil the hell out of it.
One that I read before I read the one that I had, and I'm sure most people have heard this. God said to John, "Come forth, and you'll receive eternal life." John came fifth, and he received a toaster.
Well, just so you know, I bought some shoes from a drug dealer. I don't know who he laced them with, but I was tripping all day.
This is just joke podcast at this point.
Oh, jeez.
Well, Nate, thank you very much for coming on to interviews from my hometown. I really do appreciate it.
So good, man. It was fun doing this.
Oh yeah, it was so much fun. Nate, do you have any upcoming stuff that you would like to have a shout out at the end of this?
My graduation's supposed to be May 30th, guys. Still going on, Sage Hills Church. Nah, it's just all my events I'd say come to gather, but that got canceled so far. I'll send Seth some later to Seth if anything doesn't get canceled.
All right. Yeah, thank you for listening to interviews from my hometown. Who knows when the next episode will be, and thank you for listening. Have a great day.